Let me ask you a question. How empathetic are you? More important question, how do you turn your empathy into action? Today we conclude our series on human-centered selling by learning how to flex the empathy muscle. Welcome everyone to another 5-minute sales training. It's the end of our series on human-centered selling, and today we're talking about empathy. Specifically, we're going to talk about how to flex that empathy muscle. And before I go on, we want to know where our viewers are watching from. Would you take just a moment to note that in the comments section? Just write the city or state or country. And as always, please hit the like button with every video you watch. It takes a half a second, but it helps us to get these training videos out to even more people. You know, a lot of people talk about empathy and it's important in sales, but what is it really?
Well, if I'm guilty of anything, maybe it's caring too much.
Well, the technical definition is feeling what someone else feels. It's not feeling for someone, that would be sympathy, it's feeling with someone. It's about getting into their mind and even their soul and adopting their experience, be it positive or negative. But is that really possible? Are we capable of getting outside of ourselves enough to feel what another person feels? I would say yes, to an extent. You see, we cannot fully adopt another person's feelings and experiences for a simple reason. We all have our own agenda. In the world of buyers and sellers, this is quite obvious. I can only be dominated by one agenda at a time. If I'm not careful, I will be so into my desire for empathy that when a customer says, "We're not going to make a decision today," it would be easy for me to just accept that and back off, right? So how do you practice empathy if you have a different agenda? Well, you don't. Instead, you look at complementing agendas. You look for common ground. Now, the most obvious common ground between a buyer and a seller is when you consider the completed state. That is, the buyer bought, the seller sold, and everyone is pleased.
Buck is pleased.
So there is a common ground that we can establish. The buyer has a need, and you have a way to fill it. They have a pain, you have a cure. And that right there is our goal, getting to the common ground of shared experience. Look, empathy doesn't mean abandoning your own feelings or perspectives. In fact, that's not possible. But it does require having a strong want to when it comes to understanding the feelings and perspectives of your customer. And that gives us both a mind frame and a mantra by which we can flex the empathy muscle. And that mantra is this: ease the pain.
Ease his pain.
Ease the pain. That's the objective. Now, how do you do that? Well, number one, of course, find the pain. This is what great discovery is all about. It has to start with both our desire and our ability to determine where it hurts. Think like a doctor.
Tell me where it hurts.
But we're not done, not even close. Now we have to find the source of the pain. Two different directives at play. I need to know where it hurts, but I also need to know why it hurts. So for example, suppose I'm selling brand new homes and my customer tells me that they need more space and more bedrooms than they have right now. Great. I have a clue as to their pain, but I need to know the source of their pain. So I ask, where specifically do you feel that? What drives you a bit crazy about the home you're in right now? And the customer tells me that she has 4 kids sharing one bathroom. It's a fight every morning. And there is your source of pain. Now, how do you know that you found the source? You'll know it when the emotion comes out, the frustration, the aggravation, the tension. That's what you need to see. All right, so I found the pain. I found the source of the pain. What's next? I need to lessen the pain as the customer looks at her future. So let me put this into some sales verbiage here. Step 1, discover the buyer's problem. And everyone has a problem, or you wouldn't be talking to them. Step 2, discover the source of the problem. This is where you find the emotion. Step 3, solve the problem. Show them a future that is full of peace and relief once they have moved forward. You see, empathy itself is worthless without action. Let me say that again. Empathy is worthless without action. Flex the empathy muscle, my friends. And hey, I can't talk about empathy or close this series about being human-centered without reminding you once more about the opportunity from Shore Consulting to help the Gathering Inn. The Gathering Inn is an organization near where I live that is dedicated to providing food, shelter, job training to the homeless population. It's to get them off the streets and into permanent housing. And through the end of the year, Shore Consulting is donating 20% from all sales from the Shore store. All you have to do is go to shop.jeffshore.com to help out. Hey, thank you, my friends. And until next time, learn more to earn more.